research suggests you can even communicate with somebody outside the dream.
Oh, really?
Through blinking and stuff. Yeah, this is cutting edge stuff. I've learned it recently.
What is dreaming?
Dreaming is this world where the neurochemistry is shifted, different from the neurochemistry that we're experiencing now. So one of the things about dreams that's really interesting is that our sense of emotion is all active. It's it's flaring up, sense of emotion. So we have emotion. Dreams are instinctual and emotional, and our sense of logic is warped. So place, people, and time and space is all mixed up. And the reason for these things is that, as I said, the neurochemistry is different from this neurochemistry. So normally when I'm awake, I put the world together in a logical way, but that part of the brain is not working during sleep. So that's why the dreams are illogical. And the part of emotional part of the brain is overactive. And in fact, the frontal this part of the brain, sort of the prefrontal cortex, it can't compete with the emotional part of the brain. And that's why you have this emotion being superior to logic and reason and stuff like that. So for me, in short, dreams are this world where our neurochemistry, in a sense, is flipped on its head. And because of that, the world looks different. It's illogical, it's instinctual, it's emotional. Motor movement is difficult. That's why you will feel like you can't move, and a witch is running after you. Well, that's simply, the ghost simply, or the witch simply represents your emotional part of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And you not being able to move, it represents the part of the brain that controls movement, which is not working right.
Oh.
So it's all these things that gives dreams its peculiar flavor.
Can dreams ever have meaning outside of that then? So like sometimes you can get a book on dreams and stuff, can't you? Where it's like,
if you dreamt about this.
If you dreamt of like lavender, then that means you're destined for love and stuff like that.
No, of course that's not scientific. Of course, I mean that's outside science, right?
Yeah.
In terms of,
is there an actual link to dreams in the real world though? Like, it's your brain, because people say like your subconscious. If you saw something in your dream, maybe in the real world. Like if I saw my mum in my dream, maybe it's because I've been thinking about the real world. I need to give her a call to make sure she's okay.
It's a good question. Yes, you probably process subconscious information. I think that's clear. You incorporate memories into your dreams, so your memories will allow you or color your dreams, so that we know, and that explains also the ghost hallucination. So yes, that's for sure true. But one thing about dream is that your dreams tend to connect things in weird ways. So you might see your mother, but your mother might be on the moon, and it's all weird and mixed, right? So your brain has the tendency to just connect things in a logical way. And the question is, does this mean anything? And for me, I think the best explanation is that it does mean something. I think dreams are a VR, virtual reality type dress rehearsal for real life. So by you having a dream where you sort of, jumping over or wrestling with an alligator, simple example.
Mm-hmm.
You're wrestling with this alligator. Well, if you then encounter an alligator in real life, you're more likely to survive. Simple as that, because you're using those circuits, that you would have used, but because you did it in your dream, perhaps your friends told you about alligators and you created the scenario in your head, you dreamt about it. Now, when that happens in real life, you are much more prepared, better prepared, and then it propels, it makes you more likely to survive.
You've done it before without actually doing it before.
Yeah. And we know from dreams, like, so if I train you on a certain skill, so if I say, Stevie, play the piano at night, okay, and then go to sleep, and Stevie you go to sleep, right? The next day I wake you up and I test you on the piano playing, you are 20% better in the morning by simply sleeping.
Oh,
wow.
So it shows you that your brain is constantly working. It's never sleeping. Your brain never really takes a nap. It's always working like that. And your dreams is a huge part. So people that can remember their dreams are even better at these types of skills. They have improved skills by simply sleeping. So
I've heard that I think it could be bullshit, but I've heard that people, like, to learn a language, you can fall asleep to a tape that's playing the language. Is that wrong?
I don't know the scientific data on that, so I can't say if it helps or not. But I do know that you can incorporate things into your dreams. That I know. So in other words, if you're sleeping and there's a fire in the neighborhood and there's smoke coming in through your window, you might dream like you are also in a smoky-like scenario. Or if it's cold, your mom forgot to put on the AC, the AC off or something. It's freezing. You might feel like you're in Greenland or something, and you're on a mountain in ice or covered in ice or something. So we know that you can influence dream from the outside. So that is known.
External factors affect the dreams.
Absolutely, yeah, the content.
I have a random thing that I've done once based on what Jack's just said. I remember I could be remembering this completely wrong and it could be absolute bullshit, but I remember falling asleep listening to a Queen album back in the day.
Yeah.
And when I woke up the next day, I knew a lot of the lyrics to the songs that I didn't know before.
I'm not a scientist, but I would imagine it's before you've fully fallen asleep, you're just listening to the words.
But I left it on repeat, so when I woke up, it was still playing.
No, I venture perhaps something would come in there. I mean, your brain could pick up on information, right? But I'm sorry, I wouldn't tell you exactly how that would work. I haven't looked at the literature closely enough, but I'm sure some of that could go into your dream. Let me tell you something else. It's an interesting thing. Did you know that you mentioned Queen? You know the Beatles, right? Some of their hit singles came from dreams.
But they were like LSD dreams.
Well, possibly. But there's my point is, a lot of scientists and people that talk about like their dreams. They have certain, dreams that then inspire their work. And this is because your brain is just connecting all these interesting things and looking at the world from a fresh perspective, and allows you to have new insights. This is a well-known thing.
That's crazy. Can you control the narrative of your dreams?
It's a great question. So we said during dreams, you lose your awareness during dreams. And this is because a part of the brain that controls awareness and logic and all that turns off. Okay, takes a nap there. Now, occasionally when you are sleeping, that part of your brain that controls your awareness accidentally can sort of turn on again a little bit. So you find yourself in a dream-like world. You are in a dream, but you are aware of yourself.
I have this.
You have
yeah.
So you are aware. You know you're dreaming, and in some cases, you can manipulate the content of the dream.
Yeah,
so
100%.
So you can manipulate it.
Yeah.
Research suggests you can even communicate with somebody outside the dream.
Oh, really?
Through blinking and stuff. Yeah, this is cutting edge stuff. I've learned it recently that
wow.
By being in the lucid dream, you can sort of communicate with the researcher. He can ask you a question.
Wow.
And then, through the eye movement or something like that. I have to look at it closely. But this was quite surprising when I saw it. So yes, you can.
I have this thing where I never really ever have a nightmare, because if I'm having a nightmare, I'm aware that I'm having a nightmare, so I just run with it.
Yep.
And if it's like a man chasing me down the street with a knife, if it gets too intense, and it isn't like the movies, where they wake up and they're like, like that, they've already had the scary bit. Like, whereas mine will go, I'll let him chase me for a bit and I'll kind of like play around with it, and then he'll go to kill me and I'll go, nah, not for me now, and I'll wake myself up from it. Like I promise you that I can do that. I've never ever had a nightmare because I can just get out of it. But the sleep paralysis is different to that.
Yeah. I have nightmares all the time. I'm really bad in them as well.
What? So this is fascinating to me, because when you have a nightmare, you can't just stop the nightmare.
I can't even run away. So the way you're saying you're running, I have a thing in my nightmares where I'll be in a running position, but I cannot move. So I'll have, in a way, sleep paralysis within my dream. So I'm dreaming and I'm paralyzed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like I remember really specific dreams of like running out of a house. And like I'll be frozen, and I'll just see like my mum drive past me, and I want to scream for help, but I can't talk, I can't move.
Wow.
I have like really bad nightmares when I have them. I don't have them too often, but when I have them, I'm like, I'll be up, but like I'll wake up like 2 a.m. and I won't be able to sleep for like another hour.
Wow.
Crazy.
until my body calms down from it.
Whereas I just
and you're like, all right, I don't want to have this.
That's like quite like I said to Fiona before. I was like, I can literally just wake myself up. Don't want to have it. So it's weird.
I do want to ask one quick question about dreams. I've read before, or I've heard before, that every person you see within a dream is someone you've seen in the real world. Like you can't make up a face.
Great question. I thought about that for a while. I thought about that. It's a great question. I mean, I'll tell you this. A few years ago, I was having a dream and I saw this girl. All right? She was striking. She was beautiful.
Chicken wings.
Really, really beautiful. Yeah. And I thought to myself, who is this? And it was slightly sort of a lucid type dream, right? And so if I had seen this person in real life,
you'd know about it.
I would have known.
Yeah.
Right? How does my brain create this what I saw as a beautiful? I mean, I wanted to propose to her, Yeah. But then in my dream, I realized it's actually a projection of myself. So I thought, hold back for a minute, okay? But yes, I mean that is a good question. Whether
you can invent faces.
Yeah, I think probably it is some kind of figment of your memory. So it's your memory that allows you to create. But the question is, can you maybe put faces together or slightly change them as well? It's a good question.
Yeah, I suppose your brain must be able to push like two different people's faces together to create a whole new one. Like, because if not, artists couldn't then draw that, surely, because it's the same.
It's the same thing, right? Artists can draw completely.
It's imagination.
Novel person, so imagination, right? So just think about it. You have a face. You slightly So if you slightly you take the nose from this person and you take the eyebrows and eyes, you know what I mean? Like
So they're
Yeah.
all
Might
real
be.
features, but it's not all one person.
Possibly, I
Yeah.
can't tell you for sure. I don't even know the research on this, how crisp it is, if it's really clear. But I would say that the main thing that I've sort of my knowledge is that usually it's from your memories and people you've encountered. But
Yeah.
one wonders whether your brain can actually sort of manipulate these slightly or morph them into slightly different beings.
Wow. You get a video
Mm.
and it's a minute long, and you watch the first 15 seconds, you're like fucking bored. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean, it's a minute long, and I can't sit there. Would you say it's having a huge negative effect on us as a race because we have these smartphones?